Say tricks.
With this flavor of cowpoke, you'll be printing orbs with this beauty, then using those orbs to give yourself woven mail, and your woven mail will then give you tangles, and then your tangles will explode into dust devils that will kill or distract your enemies so that you can keep printing orbs. On top of all of that, these are going to be boosting your last word's damage by 858%. Marksman dodge is a must so that our dodge will reload our weapon so that we can make the most out of our lucky pants and last word combo. As a backup, we are going with grapple paired with thread of ascent. This will reload our equipped weapon when we activate our grapple while also boosting our handling and reload by 40 points. And our airborne effectiveness by 30 points for 15 seconds. Threaded Spectre will create a decoy to distract our foes when we need to make a quick getaway, lure them in for a sneak attack, or distract them while we flank. Whirling Maelstrom will be a major player of the build by creating a Strand-powered Dust Devil whenever we destroy a tangle. Thread of Transmutation will give us that tangle every 12 seconds so long as we have Woven Mail. Thread of Warding will ensure we always have Woven Mail by granting it to us every time we grab an Orb of Power. However, we will take a 10-point hit to our resilience with this fragment, but we will be offsetting that with 10 points of resilience from our Thread of Binding, which will also make our super kills emit a suspending explosion. Our lucky pants are fitted with an illegally modded holster. Upon readying a hand cannon, this holster will grant plus 100 handling to ready speed, which means we will have the fastest hands in the West. The holster will also reduce our accuracy cone size by 30%, which is a fancy way of saying it reduces your bloom. Or, in other words, our bullets will have a tighter grouping, allowing us to have an easier time landing our shots. Our holster will also boost our airborne effectiveness by 20 points. If that wasn't enough, when we ready a fully loaded kinetic hand cannon or one of an element matching our subclass, each hit we land within 5.5 seconds will increase our weapon damage by an additive 60%. This buff ramps up to a maximum boost of 600% after landing 10 shots. When the buff runs out, or if we swap weapons, then we will have to wait 10 seconds before we can trigger this effect again. There are a lot of great hand cannons to combine with our lucky pants, but none of them will give you a stronger yeehaw than the last word. This 225 RPM kinetic beauty is at its finest when fired from the hip. Hip-fired hits will grant us stacks of fanfire. Each stack will grant us plus 5 reload speed and further increase our accuracy. You can obtain up to 4 stacks of fanfire, but all stacks are lost upon reloading or aiming down sights. All hip-fired precision hits with this weapon deal 30% more damage. For legendary weapons, you have tons of flexibility. My choices were made mostly to stick with the cowboy theme of the build. I ran Gnora's axe with Iron Reach and Threat Detector for some nasty range in PvP while still being great in PvE since it is a pinpoint slug. Then I ran a 7th Seraph Saw with autoloading holster and Vorpal weapon. For armor stats, we will prioritize resilience and discipline, followed by mobility and recovery. Mobility isn't as important this time around as it was in the solar variation of this build, because we have our grapple as an additional option to reload our last word, so feel free to move those points over to recovery if you prefer. Our helmet will be 2 kinetic siphons, so orbs created by our last word will grant 3.25% to our super instead of 2.5%, and then 1 hands-on so that both of our melees will grant us super energy. Our chest will have 1 heavy-handed so that those same melee kills will also generate an orb of power. Then we have 1 kinetic loader to further boost our last word reload. Our chest will have 2 charged up mods so that we can have 5 stacks of armor charge. Our legs will have 1 recuperation for 70 HP from orb pickups, 1 orbs of restoration for 10% energy to our lowest ability on orb pickup, and 1 kinetic surge for an additional 10% damage boost to our last word. Our class item will have 1 bomber so that our dodge grants 12% grenade energy, 1 powerful attraction so it will grab nearby orbs, and 1 reaper so it will also cause our next weapon kill to generate an orb. Remember the loop. Generate orbs and pick them up to get woven mail. Then Get weapon kills to create a tangle. Then destroy the tangle to create a Whirling Maelstrom. Before heading into combat, you want to make sure your hand cannon is loaded and that your lucky pants are not on cooldown. When entering combat, try to close the gap between you and the enemy. I try to have them at least as close as this guy. Once your target is within your comfort zone, trigger your illegally modded holster buff by swapping to your last word. If your last word is already readied, then you can activate the buff by briefly pulling out your ghost, which is faster than swapping to your energy weapon and then back to the last word. Then start blasting, and try to keep your target in the center of your screen as best as you can while only hip firing. It is important to never aim down sights with the last word. In the beginning, I aimed for center mass and treated headshots as a special treat when they happen. Eventually, you will get used to hip firing and the precision hits will get easier, but by no means are they necessary. What is necessary is landing your shots. As long as bullets are tagging the enemy somewhere, even if it is their pinky toe, then your last word will ramp up in damage so fast that precision becomes mostly irrelevant. As soon as you shoot all 8 shots from the last word, dodge or use your grapple to reload it, and then resume shooting your target. If you time everything perfectly, you have just enough time to fire off all 16 rounds. If you are landing all of your shots, then the last 6 shots will be dealing 600% more damage each. If they are precision hits, then they will get a 30% boost from the last word, bringing the total up to 780%. Furthermore, with the 10% from our kinetic surge mod, the total comes up to 858%. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, y'all.